Welcome back to Madame After Midnight. This is a podcast where we speak about life after hours in the kitchen when it's quiet, but our thoughts are loud. I'm your host, Madame Donut, and tonight's episode is called Rental Rules and the Sizzle That Won't Fizzle. So, pull up a chair, pour yourself some tea or tea, and let's talk about what happens when your passion gets banned by a lease. So here's what went down. I've only been in my new place for about 3 months. I moved here hopeful, exhausted. I've been on the road for quite a while. And, I wasn't just hauling boxes. I was hauling a whole rhythm of life that's changed. And I was having a hard time shaking off my Maui state of mind. If you're trying to look for aloha in the mainland, it's kind of challenging. Anyhow, so I moved here 3 months ago, and since then, the lease has changed 3 times. I'm not even going to talk about some of the other amendments. I feel like I'm living as if I'm walking on eggshells, to be honest. But I do want to talk about the latest addition. And it says, "Thou shalt not fry in the unit." If you're new here, I make donuts. I mean, it's not just my work. it's a career. But it's really more than that. It's like practically my calling. It's my purpose in life. It's even in my name, donut. Okay, so reading this new ban in my living situation, it felt more like not just a rule. It felt like someone slamming the door on something sacred. I am Madame Donut. I make donuts for a living. And let me be clear, I'm not anti-rules. I totally get it. Landlords, they're trying to avoid smoke alarms and prevent, of course, grease fires or nuisance complaints, But one thing he probably does not realize or did not choose to notice is that I am very meticulous in the kitchen. I keep things clean and organized. But maybe that doesn't matter because he needs to have better control or simply just really concerned about the hazards. What this moment reminded me of is that our environment can shape our spirit. Because if you live to create, whether it be music or food or you're journaling, in your phone, in your computer, writing a book, you need that space and you need that freedom. And when that gets limited, it feels like your soul gets rerouted. I certainly felt displaced, like I didn't know where I should stand, because cooking isn't just a hobby for me. It's something that's spiritual almost, it's sensual, and it's a way of reminding myself who I am, especially donuts. It seems silly, yes, but donuts are sacred to me. They're a symbol of joy, of unity, of community. I don't know if you know this about me, but I see donuts everywhere. When I see a lifesaver, I see a donut. A Christmas wreath, that's a donut. And, the recycling symbol, it reminds me of a donut. Or it's a symbol of, like I said, unity and community and giving back and sustainability and a just and fair economy. I could go on and on about how much donuts take over my life. When I make donuts, I'm not just making treats. I'm being me. Anyways, I cried. For 2 nights, I was quite depressed. I was really sad because I couldn't just move. I've spent pretty much most of my resources in relocating myself. I outfitted this new space so I can create and rebuild my life. So I had to take a breath and I vented to a friend of mine, and she made a joke about me just coming over to her house and just frying outside. And so I did. So I left my little restrictive space and went somewhere bigger. And when I say bigger, it's not that she has a big space. She actually lives in a tiny apartment herself. But Her space just felt like there was more love and freedom, and that meant a whole lot to me. And when I was frying under the sun outside with friends that I trusted, I fried my heart out. And something shifted. This felt more like a workaround. It's a revelation. It's a reclamation. It reminded me, I am not stuck. I'm adaptable. I'm not fragile. I'm resourceful. I'm not too much. I'm just too passionate to be boxed in. And maybe so are you. We all have limitations. Maybe yours is not a lease. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's resources. Maybe you're burnt out. Maybe it's a job you hate. Maybe it's someone who doesn't see your magic. But listen, Linda. And even if your name is not Linda, listen. And listen to me good. A limitation is not the end. It's just a curveball. And perhaps it's a creative opportunity that's dressed like an inconvenience. It could be a blessing in disguise. So take a better look, and you might just see it. The trick is not to bulldoze through it. The trick is to pivot with grace. Ask yourself, what can I do here? So that day, when I was frying outside, it reminded me, the joy isn't in the gear or the kitchen. It's in the making. It's in the sharing. It's in creating, even if a part of your world is saying no. Because when you do that, you're not just making art. You're building resilience, and you're building trust with yourself. Wherever you are, whether your landlord had banned your joy, maybe life just keeps handing you closed doors, I promise you, you can still make magic. You can turn scraps into a feast. You can fry donuts on the streets and still feel like a 5-star soul, because that's what it felt like for me. Don't let the rules shrink your spirit. Don't let the detours define your destination. Be the workaround, be the improvisation, and be the joy. Thank you for staying up with me. This is Madame After Midnight. I'll see you under the moon again next week. And until then, stay joyful, keep creating, and if all else fails, circle back around to what matters the most.